So you asked what creates a significant amount of waste on our campus. I would definitely say the cars. Most people on our campus don't use bikes. They don't do a lot of walking. People are very dependent on their cars, and so that's a significant amount of waste. And also just the first thing that comes to mind is all of our food products, all of the trash that we create. Plastic bottles, styrofoam cups, paper plates, plastic utensils, all of that creates a significant amount of waste. How can we reduce that? We definitely need, and some of these things they've done on our campuses, they've encouraged people to start riding their bikes more. They've set up places where people can park their bikes and chain up their bikes, and so encouraging people to do that more. As for trash, I believe they have started recycling bins. We should be getting those in a couple.
Tomorrow we're
Is
supposed
it tomorrow?
we're supposed to put them
Very
around.
cool. So that would be huge if people just start, and we need to make people aware of. You don't throw it in the trash. You put it in the recycling bin.
Yep. Most any kind of trash is recyclable.
Absolutely. There's very little that we can't recycle. And so once we start recycling things, that's going to make a huge difference.
What is something you do in your personal life to transition to a zero waste lifestyle?
A long time ago, I started becoming aware of environmental issues and making changes. So we have been recycling for years. We recycle everything that we can. The only thing we can't recycle in Russellville is glass. And so we recycle everything. In the last couple of years, we have changed out our light bulbs to the low energy light bulbs. We have gotten rid of all paper napkins. We don't use paper towels. We don't use plastic bags. Ziploc bags. We use cloth bags when we go to the grocery store. Things like that. And I bought a very fuel efficient car.
You also have a aluminum can.
Do what?
You use your aluminum can instead of water bottle.
Absolutely. I reuse as much as I can. I try not to, this sounds sort of silly, I guess, but I do a lot of reuse. So I buy a lot of my clothes and my kids' clothes at yard sales, at Goodwill stores, and I sell my kids' clothes at yard sales and at Goodwill store or at consignment shops, because I feel like we should reuse our things, not just throw them away. And so, what else? Lots of things.
Does the school have a compost?
Not that I know of.
So the cafeteria food was probably thrown away.
Probably.
What creates a significant amount of waste on campus?
Well, the obvious answers are things that create a significant amount of waste everywhere, which is driving cars and it's a commuter campus, and there's a lot of cars, a lot of people driving into campus from long distances. The buildings themselves on campus create a lot of waste. And this is nothing unique to this campus, but generally campus buildings are not designed to take advantage of freely available energy from the sun and the wind. They take a lot to heat, and the systems are not very efficient. And again, it's true of many campuses around the country. I would also say campus food systems create a lot of waste, both in terms of actual throwing away of food, which again is a common problem, and the energy used to get that food here and to process it. Those would be the two big ones off the top of my head.
What is one way we could eliminate our waste, or at least cut it down?
Well, having more energy efficient buildings on campus, and that, if you just decide to build new buildings, you might be committing more energy in the process of doing that than you're going to save by making them energy efficient. Can they be retrofitted? I mean, these are things that campuses around the country are looking at, so those need to be considered. Retrofitting buildings, and if we're going to build new ones, let's design them to be energy efficient, at least passive solar, if not passive in a broader sense. We can think about sourcing food and how much food is thrown away and how it's served to students and try and reduce waste in all of those ways. Now, people make the assumption that just because you get something from closer food, particularly closer to where it's consumed, that it's going to be more efficient. That's not necessarily the case, but there's something to that. So just some more careful thought about where food is coming from and what kind of energy goes into processing and cooking it here certainly could help.
Do you know of any other community that might be doing something that stands out in your mind? Something that promotes repurposing or recycling or reusing?
You're talking about a community in particular?
Well, I mean,
campus?
I wouldn't want to generalize you to a campus, but just any idea of it, you know what I mean? Like, there's a campus out there that issues every student a bicycle, and no one is entitled to one bicycle. So, whenever there's a bicycle there, after you come out of class, you just pick which one's closest.
There are plenty of other campuses out there that are taking the lead on this. The one that comes to mind is Oberlin College in Ohio, where David Orr started the environmental studies program, and he actually has a unique history here in Arkansas as well. I personally, my own research is focused on studying people who have come together in communities and formed communities with the expressed purpose of working together cooperatively to create less wasteful, more satisfying lives in intentional communities and eco-villages around the world. So there are plenty of examples out there.
How could we go about creating a compost for the school?
Well, I mean, we got to work with existing structures here, both power structures and physical structures. So we'd have to get the physical plant involved. We'd have to get the folks in the food service areas involved. We've got an agriculture department here. It would have to be a cooperative effort. But again, this is something that is being done on campuses around the country, and there are models there to be learned from.
So it is possible then.
Sure.
And
I mean, you have to take into account that composting, you're going to get the health department involved, and you got to make sure that you're doing it in ways that consider everyone's health and safety. But there are ways to do it.
what is something that you do in your own life that is steering you towards a zero waste lifestyle?
Well, I've learned a lot of things from the people in these communities I study. It's not easy to apply them all in my life, but I would say consciousness about my food, where it comes from, how it was produced, and trying to produce a little bit of it myself or get some from my neighbors and the farmers in the community. I'd say that's the biggest, most fundamental thing I do.
Is there anything else you would like to add? Any words of wisdom?
But, I mean, this is an important topic. It needs to be a more central thing that campuses are taking on. In fact, the campus itself should be a laboratory for dealing with these issues, and the campus itself as a setting should be an educational setting where the campus is setting good examples for students instead of being something that students and faculty have to struggle with or against to achieve these goals. So I guess I'll end with that.